bedroom mapato ya 5.7 million can be yours. Revisha ushinde. KCB, for people.
West TV, tazama ilivyo.
Good morning, dear viewer. You are so welcome. This is the Morning Scoop. Good morning, wherever you are. We're coming to you live from the heart of Bungoma town on West TV. On behalf of Kelvin Kibet, who is directing this show, this is CKS. You see, in Kenya, they say that in politics, 24 hours is a lifetime. So 2026 is going to be a millennium, or maybe 2,000-3,000 years compared, because it's going to be a very long year in politics. One day you're going to see one thing and another one, it's like nothing happened. We're going to see a lot of promises, a lot of betrayals. You see, before 2022 we had the Hustler promise and all the goodies it promised, very many nice things. And then all of a sudden we won the election and things started changing. So today, that experiment or that experience is teaching us something else. 2026 is going to come up with a lot more narratives, a lot more promises. Those who worked the 2022 success elections, most of them are going to be dropped. So we're going to see a lot of those betrayals. And then we're going to see a new promise to the Kenyan community. Here in Western, the ground is even more unsettled because, you see, Mumias and Zoya has always been at the heart of the local politics. Now that the two are gone, what is going to come up? What are we going to look at? You see, we keep on looking at or holding on something, then we use that as a capital or something to help us win elections. This time round, I'm trying to imagine whether roads will still remain, and then agricultural input, maybe maize, maybe promising of airports and stuff like that will come up. And we have young guys, very energetic, no-nonsense types. The Sifunas and the Ntembeas are coming up, and they try to recreate focus for the community. So those are the things we're going to look at today, and then try to understand whether these two guys are just coming. One is an intellectual kingpin, another one is a community kingpin, or they're going to bring about the right change. To help us peel these layers one by one is a veteran media personality, is a journalist, and is also a businessman. He's Bungoma biggest brain we have. I think one of these days we should hold someone at gunpoint and give him an office so that he can implement the ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome my friend David. Good morning.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Kitui. That is me you are describing. I'm waiting for that person to come in.
Okay, so that you can also welcome.
I can welcome that person, because we need that kind of person in this community, man. We need.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
2026 is here.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a tyrant of numbers, or is it going to be finally it's the tyrant of the hungry?
I think we also have the tyranny of the Gen Zs, which is worrying a lot of politicians and going to affect our politics. But we don't know whether it is real, or it's a mirage. Because the Gen Zs look like a power, a force, but they have not been tapped. And if you look at the by-elections we did last year in November, the Gen Z factor didn't play out as they were left out, anticipated. In fact, people say this Gen Z ni moto wa makaratasi, because what did they impact? What impact did they have on the by-elections? No analysis critically has brought out the impact the Gen Z has as a testing ground for what we expect to happen in 2027, or what people are anticipating will happen. It may be that nothing will happen. I mean, the Gen Zs might just fizzle out and we'll just have regular elections like in the past. And this apparent revolution may not happen. I hope that's not going to happen. I hope they will be a force. I hope they'll transform this country, because this is their time to bring new ideas. They're the information age force, and we need them on the table to see how they can fast track our development and also bring fresh ideas if they have.
Okay. You see, you talk about Gen Zs. You see, every generation needs leadership.
Yeah.
Maybe because there is no clear defined leadership, that will be the biggest undoing.
Among the Gen Zs?
Yes.
Yeah, but you see, the Gen Zs must be incorporated within the bigger body politic and the search for leadership. Isolating themselves and coming as a force on their own is not what should happen, because they need an infusion of wisdom, moderation of their ideas and radicalism, and also to tap their potential in a manner that is progressive, because a lot of energy can be destructive, and their energy as Gen Zs is both destructive and productive. So we must know how to harness that potential properly. If we don't do it, it will be a wasted opportunity, and I see that as the main challenge going into 2026, because do they have organizing capacity? Are they being incorporated into the mainstream politics? So they're working on the trenches, and therefore their impact will be inconsequential. I hope for the best. I dream for the better, for a better formation that is a mix of the old ideas of wisdom and maturity, and also a bit of the brilliance and innovation and creativity and energy of the youth.
Yes, yes.
That combination can catapult this country forward, and this county also forward.
Okay.
Who will tap it? I don't know. But, you know, Kitu, campaigns have started.
Interestingly.
Way early. I don't know what is going to happen this year, because people are already in campaign mode. Will we really be doing governance, development, or we are going to move into politics, and no politics and campaigns is just about waste, about luring people, about promises? I'm worried.
But you see, in Kenya, that has been the norm. It has been, it's like in a soccer field. Once you score, you don't relax. You want the second one.
No.
And those you score it against start immediately to find an equalizer. So it's like in a soccer pitch.
And that's what is happening. And I think I always say that the buck stops at the top there. You know, if the president is the one who is now in full campaign mode, what does he expect the opposition to do?
They have to play catch up.
And then it will just be criticism upon criticism, because anything the president will do will be seen as an attempt to boost himself for the election.
Yes.
I wish he could tone down the political rhetoric on these things and make you see, he already set up a campaign re-election team, for example, for Bungoma or Western actually, led by Ken Lusaka. Is Ken Lusaka going to be governing our county, which needs his services, or running for re-election for Ruto's re-election in the larger Western region? Those are very serious issues of governance.
It's training his focus.
Yeah. We already were not satisfied with his productivity or his performance without these extra responsibilities that now the re-election campaign committee gives him. So I think the country is being driven too fast politically. I don't know how to frame it, but the political momentum that the president has set for 2027 is likely to undermine our own welfare and development as a country, and the governance that we expect in the 5-year period that we normally grant.
Whoa. Bottom up was 2022 thing, and we had the Hustler Fund and bottom up.
Yeah.
What do you think slogans will be going to 2027? Of course, it will start in 2026.
Well, we are yet to find them. I think, first of all, it's premature. Formations are not in place yet. We hear of a united opposition, but really nothing concrete yet. Each of those units that are forming the united opposition is not yet sufficiently established or ready. So we are playing with the experiments. You know, people are trying to find whether they can work together, whether, you know, who will lead. But we haven't come to the crux of the matter. structuring that opposition to President Ruto in 2027. Tuko mbali. And I think it's going to take them some time, because I see everybody is arming himself to run, you know, from Rigiji.
Yes.
Matiang'i is on the rise. Kalonzo is there. In Western here, we are having Eugene is still holding, you know, the leadership of DAP. People think you should cede it to Natembea.
Natembea, yes.
Fresh blood to see whether there can be a difference.
Yes, yes.
So all these people, and there is Maraga there on the sideline, not within the United Opposition ranks. Okiya Mtata is out there. He made a proclamation that he's running. No, we have not seen much movement in that direction. All these people will need to sit together in a caucus for them to create a united opposition. I am very, very suspicious whether they really get together to unite as it is, because I think we may have a couple of candidates, which is okay.
The problem is, for united opposition, is another promise we're going to see a lot of in 2026, because these guys are calculating how best can we beat the incumbent. So that calculation is going to play out a bit.
They have to do the mathematics based on numbers of each of the members of that united opposition, or each of the formations, political parties. I see some of the bases are being attacked. Like Rigiji had tried to set up the Mount Kenya region as his base, his bedroom. I see the assault there by William Ruto and the UDA team. What happened last couple of days from Sagana shows that he's still trying to make forays into Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Saying, I've not lost you people, we're together. Truth of the matter is that the vibe that came from those meetings still shows Mount Kenya
is solid behind Ruto.
Wamesema tutaonana baadaye.
They're not behind Ruto.
Not.
They've moved.
Now, a lot. There could be pockets of support there.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you cannot have zero. He has people, he has Ruku, he has all these people. They also have their bases. But proportion of those behind Kenya Kwanza and Ruto, UDA, has really dropped. If it was at 70% in Mount Kenya region, it could be around 25 or so. It's really declined.
Okay.
But whether Rigiji, Jubilee, and the other players, DP, in Mount Kenya region, East and West, will hold fort against the onslaught by UDA, which is showing it has money and goodies to give, is a matter to wait and see.
In this region, last year, we had a lot of promises around the sugar industry and general agricultural sector. Nzoia has been done with, and Mumias, they are not in the picture anymore. Maybe talking about the farmer, the sugarcane farmer, not the value addition. And then talking about farming, you see there are reports that 12.5 million bags of subsidized fertilizer has been released into the system. So that could be the conversation going into 2026, maybe. And maybe in your understanding, do you think the Western Kenya farmer has been bottomed up, or they're still
you know, Kitumi, I think that Western and this Bungoma County needs to move on beyond the sugar politics. I mean, we cannot be a one-crop region. In fact, I think the leadership of our counties, the three counties, Kakamega, Bungoma, and Busia, even Trans Nzoia can come in, ought to think how they can change our economy from this sugar and maize to other cash crops, horticultural things which can multiply our resources faster.
Yes.
And as I've said before, this potential of this region agriculturally has been mapped out by an elaborate research done by Egerton University, which has shown the topography of different regions with Bungoma. What can you plant in Chwele, in Sirisia, in Mumbomola? If you go to Trans Nzoia, what can you do in Charangani, Kiminini, and so on? There are alternatives. There are cash crops that can grow here
in all those
areas, substituting sugarcane and maize. But our farmers cannot adventure. They need leadership. a policy that switches and says, look, we are going to invest money in cashew nuts, or palm oil, which are actually crops that can grow here. And that's not talking theory.
Okay.
They've been found to grow here. We have cassavas. We have a lot of horticultural things which can grow here, which are quick maturing and fetch higher prices.
The returns are huge.
Yeah. If you are planting maize for a season, or let's say sugarcane, which is our main, our devil, it's going to take 18 to 21 months. There are crops you can grow that are 6-month maturity period. And, for example, pilipili. People have tried pepper, and pepper has it has a huge market for making spices and all these other things. That if you take 21 months and you need another crop instead of sugarcane, your income or revenue from that agricultural activity is going to be 4 times more.
But we are rain-fed sector. We don't.
But if you change as a policy and say Bungoma is going to be an agricultural county, we're going to focus on making sure agriculture survives here through irrigation and other forms of support.
So we invest in the infrastructure.
Fund farmers. We look for investors to come and put up production for cassava milling and paper and other things, even tobacco, which used to be in Malakis. We say, let us do cash crops that can improve our economy. And the county government says, in the next 3 years, our focus is going to be developing this agricultural sector, and we put money in that direction. I mean, we need policy and leadership that is focused and wants to transform our lives. Not just this routine thing, sugarcane. We go on morning, it was sold, the sugar factory was sold. Something every year. Oh, rain didn't come. Amazing harvest is low. For how long are we going to whine?
So you can't even classify that as a promise or a betrayal. It's just that it
is failure of initiative. Playing within the same, not thinking outside the box, and not having the courage to say, let's move to the next frontier, which is the kind of leadership we need next for this country to move forward.
But then when you talk about the agricultural sector also, there is a reduction of about 15% rainfall affecting this region. So that also is a very big
yes, and that is why the world is moving away from depending on rain-fed, on weather patterns to survive, but to create economies that are based on deliberate innovation to overcome these perennial challenges of whining that there was no rain, so we are going to now the country is going to suffer food shortage. The Bungoma was hit by rainfall throughout last year, January to December. It was raining.
Yes.
But we're talking about famine coming because we have not sufficient food. Isn't that a problem?
Yeah.
We're just not being creative enough. And by the way, beyond just talking about economy, some of these economic hardships and our economic situation is a product of our cultural practices.
Okay.
I am looking forward to a leader who will come and say, look, we have challenges to our growth and to our social transformation as a people, as Kusus, as Luyas, or as a region, whoever lives here. We are bogged down by very, very outdated cultural practices which are impoverishing us more instead of helping us to grow.
Okay.
We are bogged down by traditional economic activities which I've just mentioned, like sugarcane, maize, which are holding us down from growing. Where is the cooperative movement that can say, you have 2 acres, or 1 acre, you have 5 acres, all of us struggling sedentary farming, planting maize, half an acre, grass hapo ya ng'ombe na mbuzi hapa. Why don't we say, you bring your 4 acres, you bring your 2 acres, let's form a corporate society that's going to farm all this land together. Your share is the 2 acres. We'll give you what comes from those 2 acres from intensive agricultural practice and farming that produces, if you normally produce 3 bags of maize, through that cooperative movement will give you 11 bags of maize. Fanya mambo ingine bwana, tafuta another hustle, wachana haka kashamba tupatie kwa cooperative, si tufanyie na tukulipe pesa yako. We need radical thinking and government policies around here to transform. Otherwise tutaimba tu mambo forever. And I'm hoping the governors who are coming in, at least one of them,
to think like that,
can adapt some of these things.
You see, the issue of land, what causes us to look at land, the way we look at land is we don't look at it as capital. We look at it as an inheritance.
Yes.
Whose value depreciates. Yes. That's the problem.
Yes. Heritage. Yeah, but you see, we have to change our economy from the traditional asset-based land things like those which people treasure. You know, somebody has 2 acres of land, na ataka na hizo ndio atapea mtoto wake. Now you have to look at those acres in terms of business or investments. It could be shares. It could be a business that is more productive, that your family or your children or your heirs will inherit. We are no longer looking at inheriting land. If you are still stuck on inheriting land, because then you know you need some quick RRI, you know, on investment and what has happened in the global economy.
But how can we convince someone that land is not just a home?
Socialization, and you know, you have to socialize in the current society. People are thinking differently. Don't be stuck with dead assets. Monetize those assets.
Okay.
People are doing that. That's why people are saying you can use land to secure money to do business.
Yes.
As a collateral. But land on its own may not be very useful today because it doesn't appreciate very fast in some areas. You can have land, if you have land in somewhere or in somewhere in the Kimalewa, if it was 1 million per acre 5 years ago, it could be 1.2 million shillings.
It would still be 1 million.
Or today. 1 million, or it could even be lower than that
yes.
based on the circumstances at that time. So if you had used that land, that 1.2 million, on something else, you would have multiplied your wealth. So the thing is, how do we educate our people on modern economy and economics?
Okay, should we, if we look at 2022 promise from the political elite, do you classify it as a contract that can be renewed in 2027 or something to terminate?
You know, you're asking for an analysis on whether this government has performed well or not. And we're looking at the national government or the county government. In my view, I think both of them. Of course, the county one has no chance of re-election because it's the last term that Lusaka is doing. But we can give him a pass.
Okay.
If I was rating him, I would give him a pass. He has done what basically somebody in office can do routinely. And there was nothing radical, I can say, that has happened in the Lusaka 2 administration, except projects which have come through the national government, boosting the county's development portfolio. Like you have seen, because of Madaraka Day, a lot of infrastructure was improved within town. But after Madaraka Day, things have lapsed back to normal. This, you know, chaos all over the place, disorder, you know, things are just back to, and they'll get worse as we go into political 2027.
Okay.
Because nobody want to disturb another because they want to protect their vote. So we are looking at a degenerating economic, not economic, but administrative setup, order, basically. But there are things which have been done, which we must credit either through the partnership or membership of our leadership here in the Kenya Kwanza coalition. So those goodies came by virtue of that. I mean, we've talked about Matulo airstrip. It's there, you know, infrastructure-wise. But, you know, you see Sangalo National Polytechnic, all of them in states that are neither complete or going on. They're just there. You know, stadium, President, when we did the Madaraka Day here over 2 years ago, said, Jeshi tabaki hapa kukamilisha hiyo kazi. It's 2 years down the line.
It's not done,
and trying to finish it. Because they say AFCON could have some games here in 2027. I don't know if that's possible. I doubt. but with the stadium will be up in place. So there are a few things which have been done. Markets are being built through the National Government Corporation.
Yes.
The main market here is the one in Chwele. So these are significant development projects, but they are not reflective of county government initiative or an improvement in how we govern ourselves locally.
Okay.
If you go, people are making comparisons. If you go to Muranga, you'll see things. You go to places, there are counties which are really swinging and going.
Because they are putting those resources to...
You've got leaders who consult and are really focused on how to make their people better economically. Education, health, proper significant arrangements. Here we are basically bumbling, falling, running, going on.
Fighting enemies and all those.
Yeah.
But then there is another element.
If Lusaka was going to seek another term, I'm sure he would have a big challenge if he was going to run for re-election.
He's doing this because he knows he's going.
But if we were to assess him on re-electability, he would have a challenge. Now look at Ruto as well, nationally. Big grand projects, huge investments, billions in loans to fund things. Look at Nyota, this, that, But, bro, are we just about brick and mortar, building roads and infrastructure, stadia and all these huge things? Or we are about empowering people economically to fend for themselves and put food on the table at the end of the day? You're taxing them beyond their capacity to live, to enjoy a life. And you are committing the country to huge loans. Some horrifying things the other day I heard in the case of SHA. This SHA which is being pushed by all fours. The infrastructure, the system that we're using, this country has paid 100 billion for it. Just to replace NHIF and bring the new structure. And they're paid for it, and the infrastructure, the patents are still with those who have sold it to us. Like they have loaned us infrastructure to use. And we're paying that amount of money.
Wow.
If you look at this Nyota project, the preparations, the whatnot, the funding is a World Bank funded damn thing. The money that is being paid in consultancies to even get the project on the road is in billions. This country is being committed to lots of debts by this administration, which came in its manifesto saying tutatengeneza mali yetu from what we have, we are going to cut loans. The complete opposite.
They actually went...
How do you re-elect a government like that, which has committed us to more debt and is continuing? And two, most of the projects which are committing us are basically being used to line up pockets of people who are going to use that money to seek re-election. Grand projects created to basically make money for the homeboys.
David,
how do you run a country?
That is not enough. We've been selling our things.
Yes.
Lusaka 1 sold on paper. Okay. Lusaka 2 sold the airport.
Why do you put it on Lusaka? Because Pan paper was not a county asset.
No.
Pan paper was a national asset.
No. You see.
Okay, it was during Lusaka's term.
It's Lusaka 1 that it was sold.
It was during Lusaka 1 that it was sold.
Then Lusaka 2, Zoya is gone, the airport is gone. We are wondering what else has gone.
And that's the problem.
And nationally, pipeline is gone, Safaricom is gone, and a few others.
Kwanza bana kitu umesema kitu inanikera sana. You know, this uwanja ndege, this airstrip, nobody should tamper with it. This whole smart city business, we don't need that thing here in the CBD at all. In the whole of Bungoma town, there is no space you can get 2 acres of public land.
None.
We are taking the space that we have in the CBD, which would be our Uhuru Park in Bungoma, and coming to bring concrete there in the name of some condominiums, some story buildings to create affordable housing in the CBD. affordable housing can be taken to Chwele, it can be taken to Kimaiti, it can be taken to...
Where land is very cheap.
Yes. It can even be taken to CO, the outskirts of Bungoma town. Why would you bring the traffic jam, vehicular jam, magari, and a lot of congestion within the CBD, when what we need is a park for people to enjoy themselves, to breathe. We need green within town, not stone. Who is thinking these things? And that's why I would be with you on condemning Lusaka too for such projects, because do we need that? No, man, we don't.
So when this is going, what is coming, and how relevant is it to the Bungoma community?
By the way, I think Bungoma people should just rise up and say, look, let's revisit the matter of affordable housing Boma yangu at Uwanja Ndege. That is not a project that is of priority use for that space. And I hear they're putting, the budget there is 7 billion. Contractor umeona ni nani? Umeona board hapo inasema the construction or who is the client and whatnot, which is a standard procedure in construction of all projects. We must guard our assets as Bungoma people.
Which brings in the housing levy. Is it a promise or a forced loan?
Wow. Are you sure that you want to get housing levy? Those who are paying are not very happy because it's mainly public servants who are being deducted that amount of money, and it is a bit of these are the policies which I'm saying, will they last? Are they sustainable? They look juicy, attractive at the beginning, but will they outlast William Ruto's administration? Or there'll be those that run after a short while, and then when a next administration comes in. That's why the Constitution has given us the opportunity to do lasting development by engaging the public in this public participation in anything that is significant, so that it's not based on the leader in office. The leader in office provides a framework, all of us agree. So even if that leader or that administration goes,
leaves,
the projects
the subsequent ones will actually
carry on because they were the priorities of the public, not of an individual. And that's where this government is going wrong. They force things down our throats against serious opposition. So what will happen? What is the future of those projects? Some of them will become white elephants. A little before Uhuru left government, he embarked on a very serious and I think nationally important project of digitization of land records. Do you hear digitization anymore?
No, apart from building the digital hubs for the young.
Yeah, they've come on digital Wi-Fi in towns and whatnot, but what we're talking about is how we make our land, which is the most valued asset to every family and person in Kenya, to be easy to access and to use it for your economic empowerment. Because records are all over the place, disputes over this and that. So digitization is supposed to make land transactions easy, fast, and accessible. After the trial and the Nairobi and a few other places were done, the pilot, this government came in and completely went mute on this affair because there are no opportunities to eat.
Maybe vested interests also.
There are no opportunities to eat. And yet that is a crucial government project. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, policies need to be sustainable, and digitization was a good policy. After Uhuru left, now Ruto has not pushed it on the front.
It's waiting for another Uhuru-minded president.
I mean, this government has taken 101 projects, many, all of them in different facets of development. Others are low. Look, let's come down to Bungoma, Sangalo, which became Bungoma National Polytechnic. We went and put an aggregation park, industrial aggregation park. Have you gone there to see how far it has gone? 2 years down the line.
Progress is painfully slow.
Ilienda tu paka hapo, ikabaki hapo. And then the president will come and launch other things here, and those ones are still waiting for funding, and he's opening more and more and more. Because of politics, re-election politics. Instead of just doing your work we have given you, let's do the work.
You see, on the regional front, when you look at the performance of these governors, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, Trans Nzoia, and Bungoma, of course, Vihiga and Bungoma are gone because they are doing final terms. But the Busia, Kakamega, and Trans Nzoia, are those guys electable?
I guess they are. Otuoma, let's start with Busia. Otuoma has tried, give it to him. If you compare the tenure of Ojamong, 2 terms, Ojamong left Busia in a bad place, let's agree. No major developments happened. He left. Otuoma came in on the, fought with Florence Mutua and made it. But he's going to face a serious fight. The 2 candidates who are eyeing him. Sidai has run a couple of times, but there's somebody else called I forget his name, escaped, who is on his case. If they agree, the 2 of them, Sidai and that gentleman, and one of them runs, he's from the Teso community. Otuoma, I think, is a Mohayo or
I think those ones are Samia or something.
He's Samia or Mohayo, I forget which one. The political dynamics in Busia, performance aside, the demographics are always very delicate. So he has to win over the Teso, which is the majority single community together, to be able to balance. But his own performance also has come under a lot of criticism. I think he has not performed as wonderfully as people expected. So his re-election is going to be, he has to fight for it. But he has a chance to get back. Especially because he's a strong man within ODM.
Yes.
And he's sticking with it. ODM has been a dominant party there.
And they have the numbers there, by the way.
And they have numbers. So if he stays within ODM and ODM gives him the ticket, and ODM remains as a party, a strong force, which is now another matter of discussion, he would come in. In Kakamega, Fernandez has fought. Initially, he was a weak governor, but the last 6 months, he has rejuvenated himself.
The fire made him emerge.
He's making some show, strong show, but again, who will take him out? Because we haven't figured out a good among the candidates who are running against him. Elsie Mahanda was trying. She's fizzled out because they have said all manner of things about her need and so on. I don't know whether she can hold.
There's Malala Daktari.
Malala is on the side also fighting. There's, I think, Boni Halwali might try again, stab at the governorship. It's going to be a toss-up for Fernandez. Not very, right now he could be doing at 40%. His chances. He could elevate them to 50 plus. We guess that's okay. In Trans Nzoia, George Natembea has put up a show and he's he's raising his political targets from county
away from the county, by the way,
national to regional and national. Means he could be seeking re-election, and that will be underplaying his capacity now, because he seems to have raised his stakes a little higher than the county. So on the county level, he may not get a big challenge. I mean, at the county Trans Nzoia, there'll be challenges, but I don't think Chris can take out.
There's Nakumicha, there's Chris.
Nakumicha and Chris are there. I don't think any of them can take out Natembea. Natembea has acquired a certain stature that requires us to protect him as a potential Luya kingpin. So on that basis alone, people could say we preserve him there, even in Trans Nzoia as governor, or lift him out of there for bigger national duty for the region. And I support that. I think he should move on, beyond from being Trans Nzoia governor. Let Trans Nzoia give Natembea to Western,
so that,
and we see what to do with him. We can foist him up for president.
Who knows?
And I don't see why, I keep saying this, I don't see why Natembea is not saying it.
Quietly he has.
Quietly, yes. But we cannot say things unless you are ready and you have the capacity. So maybe
quietly he has. Maybe
fuel and saying here he was in the
he's waiting for. He could be waiting for the best. But so, talking of Natembea, you see, he came up with the order and discipline. He addressed some of the economic promise, and it seemed too localized to scale to national. or you have to organize locally before you get the springboard for the national stage?
You must have a local foundation, a good base. I think in Trans Nzoia, Natembeya has good people on the ground, his boots on the ground. But I'm not sure that he has the infrastructure, organization, and teams to project him beyond Trans Nzoia yet.
Okay.
In Bungoma, I've not seen people who are foot soldiers of Natembeya yet. Maybe they are there. He has support, but they are not visible. People you can attach and say, this is a Natembeya, this is a Natembeya, a point person.
Yeah.
The same with Busia and Kakamega. But he has potential support lying that he needs to tap and invigorate.
Okay.
So maybe watu wake watakana wafanye hiyo kazi wamechelewa. They should project him quickly and fast before somebody else takes that space, if he has such an ambition.
You see, Infotrack put him at 50% plus influence as a Luya kingpin. So
Yes.
your wishes are being granted.
Oh, okay. Then influential he is. So now he needs to turn his influence into following.
Okay. And where does that leave Wetangula and Mudavadi? Dead? No, they are not dead.
No.
So,
No, not dead politically. They are active and alive, and it's just that there are epochs, there are transitions that are happening. People think they have served enough and what they've done is good enough. Now we need the next people to punch us higher. Wale barubaru wanajitokeza. No, they are there. So we're going to see a mix of the old and new guard, but it's in their discretion. It's up to them to really see what they can seed and not. Because there's a point where you go and you say, I think I can fight, but I've tried enough times to run for this thing. Let me support somebody else.
okay.
Perfect example. In Uganda, elections just held the other day. Disastrous. Okay?
Yeah.
But Kizza Besigye, who has run against Museveni 3 times or so, paved the way for Bobi Wine to come in. Because you realize you have fought this, but you may not deliver it. You are like, in the Bible, you are like John the Baptist. And now
you only pave the way for
Jesus.
Someone, okay.
Yeah. So here we have to also, using that example, find out who Moses has taken us up to the whatever. Joshua has taken us up to here. Now
Someone else has to
take us forward.
Edwin Sifuna comes as 31% most influential person, but can we just limit him to an intellectual kingpin because his base is in Nairobi?
And
he's a national figure, by the way.
Edwin has elbowed his way to the national space. He's now a recognizable figure nationally.
Yes.
One of the potential Luya or Western politicians to bank on, if he manages himself well and exercises a bit of wisdom. Now, politics has a lot of twists and turns. You can easily be swung off or destroy your career if you just make 1 or 2 mistakes.
Mistakes, yes.
And he's in that space now within the ODM. ODM is in this transition. How does he play there or emerge from there stronger using these circumstances? Or will they kill him because of how he will handle himself there? Edwin Sifuna can easily run for president if he wants. If we're looking at potential people who can declare presidency from the Luya community,
yes,
and get traction, Edwin Sifuna would be one of them.
Okay.
But he has a lot of things to do to get that, charisma and people to respect, and him also to respect those who he works with, because he's been a little vocal, but also his tongue is a bit too sharp.
He's combatant.
He's too combative for that leadership, that place we're looking at for the vacancies that exist in the Luya space for a person to project themselves. Because he doesn't have to insult Musalia. He doesn't have to insult Weta. He can say, you guys, bring your powers around me.
Yes.
Make me your champion.
Yes.
And let's go together.
Let's assume Natembeya and him forms a Young Turks alliance.
Yes.
Natembeya has the base, and we're protecting Sifuna for the national office. Do you think that can work out, or it's my wishful thinking?
You know, Natembeya is just must be treated as an individual without putting him next to his Sifuna. Because they're actually playing in totally different leagues, but the direction could be the same. You know, Sifuna has not migrated from Nairobi, and I think Sifuna coming to Western will be a different ballgame. He can play very well within Nairobi and rise within Nairobi, and Western can support him
when he's in Nairobi.
We don't have to run away from the capital. We must take and conquer the capital. And Sifuna is doing a great job being there. We need representation. Nairobi is our place. We cannot repair back here.
No. We don't have to bring him here, but he needs support from here.
Yeah.
So who can front?
So if he declares that I'm running for president in Nairobi, Western will support him in Nairobi. And that's good. If Natembeya declares he's running for president from Western, Western will support him from here, and Nairobi will support him from here as well. So usually a multi-pronged attack.
Usually we could hear narratives or campaigns or slogans coming up, and then they just become chips for sale. Tawe movement, do you think it's going to be sold to someone else?
Well, I don't think that should happen, and I don't think it will. Although there are moves to liquidate or deflate Natembeya's balloon. Either you bring him on board, Kenya Kwanza, or let me call it UDA, because Kenya Kwanza was just a formation for the last administration. The next government will be formed by a different coalition, most likely. And there is a move to tap Natembeya to bring him on board. That side. He is now within the opposition.
Yes.
How they play in DAP and how the united opposition works, and the moves that Ruto is trying to make to infiltrate that opposition, scuttle it and bring among its major players, poach some of them, will determine his re-election. In fact, if he succeeds in deflating the Tawe movement, he'll have enhanced his chances of being re-elected Western. Because the Tawe movement seems to be the only force that could rise, because its mission and objective is to assert the Luhya rights and privileges and strength and capacity to produce leadership. And not to continue playing second fiddle and getting tokens as we have done in the past.
Well, history has it, we've watched the late Jirongo-led Luhya movement, Luhya Unity movement. He ended before attaining it. We've seen a lot of that campaign going on. I have personally dismissed that there is nothing like Luhya Unity in this world. But then, when you look at the tyrant of numbers, should that be a promise?
First of all, Cyrus Jirongo, CJ was a great guy. I say that with due respect to those who hold a different opinion. And his greatness does not mean he didn't have he didn't have the foibles of any leader. He had the weak side of him. All of us bemoan the YK movement that he rose with, and how it destroyed our economy. But that is like 30 years ago. We moved on. And he also moved on and did other things which, another facet of his life, helped a lot of people. And CJ was, I think, I've not come across a politician who was generous, honest, and humble like CJ. CJ is a guy you would walk in here, he doesn't know you, and he'll tell you, oh, man, you tell him, okay, he says, wait there, we can help you, sort you out. If we cannot,
he will tell you,
send you to somebody else, say, no, he'll call someone and say, help this guy. He was a patriot and a loyal nationalist. That one, there's no doubt about it. There is none like him. And everything he tried to do politically was to advance the Luya cause.
Okay.
So those things which were said at his burial in Lumakanda were true. Unfortunately, he left. And that vacuum is big. We haven't seen somebody who can champion the Luya cause the way CJ will do it. Maybe they are going to come. Maybe Natembe will pick that up because that is the gist of his movement.
Yes.
Maybe you can see, Eugene will also move that agenda forward. But it's not about unity. It's about the Luya stake in the nation.
Yes.
That we are a big community, and among us can be a leader who can take leadership of the nation. We have numbers as a community, and communities are what form the nation. In our community, we have numbers that can project such a leader.
Okay.
So let's do it. Let's find one.
Okay. Talking about numbers, Ruto and Raila's ODM broad-based thing seemed to assure Ruto that he will enjoy the ODM following.
Yeah.
If that works, ODM followers in Western could actually vote in UDA, right? But in case it does not, is Kalonzo able to make the numbers from this region? Or any other person from the United Opposition?
First of all, I don't think that ODM is going to stay together as was and will give William Ruto or UDA the backup, the partnership that he needed to make his re-election easy.
Okay.
He's battling. Right now, he's the patron in the background of the ODM mainstream, which is around Oburu Odinga, Gladys Wanga.
Yes.
The ODM in government, let's call it like that. The way you used to have SPLM in government in South Sudan. Then there is the ODM faction or membership that does not think they should, at this point, early as now, declare support for another political party, because those alliances can be formed later if the prospects are better with the UDA, as opposed to with the opposition or on their own, as they have done in the past when Baba was alive. So I don't see Ruto getting the full bucket of ODM as he had it with Baba in that arrangement, and there is no evidence that they had agreed with Baba that he was supporting him in the next government. That's where the split is happening. Was this partnership or broad-based arrangement to go up to 2027
or
beyond? And if it was to go up to 2027, then we will say, how do we go past 2027? Do you give us a president, we give you a deputy? And that's why Oburu is hanging on to this thing and saying it's going to be power sharing, not you absorbers and eaters, Kitinga style, and we move in and become UDA. No, we are two parties. We agree on how to work together as a coalition into government. Now those who are saying no, we are not going in here because even what we agreed on the broad base, nothing has happened. Give us a report card first, then on the basis of that we say we can work together more. And I think that for me is a reasonable group, because you had a
they gave March to be the season for the reporting. March this year, right?
Yes. March this year. Zani Group should produce and say, look, on extrajudicial killings, on disappearances, on economy, on corruption, all those things they agreed we are going to work together to fix. The report should come out, and I'm telling you, the report will not be anything exciting.
Maybe it will.
Because
Maybe
I don't think they have done it.
Maybe it will.
I doubt. Even I'm not a member of ODM, but I know what the pact required them to do together, and I can see most of those things have not been done. Are you telling me corruption has gone down?
No. In fact, it has
festered. Have you seen any prosecutions of people who are involved in the disappearances and actions?
No.
Nothing. So if ODM goes ahead, we'll know what ODM stands for. Because the things they said should be done have not been done. So on what basis will they continue that broad-based arrangement?
So you are saying the next, going by the utterances by Oburu Odinga,
yes,
the next election will be won on arithmetic, not ideology.
It's going to be read on maths. What do you bring on the table? What do we give us?
Yes.
You know, when you bring that on the table. And of course, Nyanza is now opened up to many players. UDA will be trying to make its own candidates there to form it. They tried that, and then there was a bit of reprisals from ODM. But they're going to go in there. There's MDG there. There are going to be other parties there which are going to front. Jubilee will also be going in there if Matiang'i is there. If you go to Kisii now, most of the people are with the Matiang'i's party, whichever it's going to be, whether it's going to be Jubilee or whatever coalition it goes to. So, mambo bado.
Let's look at betrayals. You see, when we started with a promise for 30%.
Yes.
Did we attain that?
30% of the constitution?
You see, Western Kenya said that we'll be in government 30%.
Maybe I'm not counting the beans. I don't know whether the 30% comprises of, was it appointments? Was it budgetary allocation, that 30% of the budget? Was it government appointments? Will come 30% to Western? Share of government? Well, if it was 30%, I have not seen 30% in government appointments come to Western.
Okay.
I've not seen 30% of national projects come to Western. 30% of roads, if that was what it meant. I don't think that percentage has been met. But, you know, in politics, they say, and Baba used to say that, ni kama vile unatongoza msichana, nataka kumuona, mwambie nitakujengea hii na hii ghorofa itakuwa yako na gari nitakununulia Mercedes. Ukishafika kwa bomba unamwambia, lakini unajua hizi vitu tutaendelea kutafuta.
Yes.
So I think that's what they're doing. Wanaendelea kutafuta hiyo 30%. Maybe by 2027 hiyo 30% itakuwa imejaa. So we would be maybe it's premature to ask whether they have complied with the 30%. And also, I think the people who promised the 30% should tell us. You know, it was ANC and for Kenya that were promised the 30%.
Yes. We
should be asking Madibidi and Weta, mepata hiyo 30% yenu ama bado? And they don't talk about it.
So the 2026 was also going to mark a bit of defections, though most of it will be early 2027. So the reason for the biggest defections in Western will actually be a betrayal.
Why?
We were betrayed because we never attained to 30%, we never got blah blah blah, we sold our industries, we did whatever. So that is going to cause a lot of defections from the Kenya Kwanza thing.
No, you're being too presumptive there in my view, because politics is not based sometimes on hard bargains like those.
Okay.
It's just based on compromises. So you'll find somebody will leave Kenya Kwanza not because those things have not been met, but because there is a
better promise,
better promise or survival potential to be re-elected on another movement rather than the one you are on because it's become unpopular. And so it will not be so much about betrayal. In fact, the betrayal will be those who will be moving to new forces or formations
away from
where they are, basically out of selfish survival instincts. Those are the guys who will be causing betrayal. Because you're moving not because anything has been done to you, but because you are threatened by the opposition or the other movement that's coming up. People will defect to Tawe, not because anything has happened where they are.
Because Tawe
is a false promise. Yeah, where if they go, they'll get elected. Or somebody will move from Tawe and go to UDA. Not because Tawe has failed or there's something that has happened, basically because they don't want to fight on that side. They've been promised things this way, maybe resources for campaign or some two or so projects that will come to their area, so they'll save their skins with it, so they'll move. So betrayal is going to be at a personal level, rather than even at a political level.
A new alliance is coming up in 2026. Do you see what has been touted as the united position emerging strongly and forming a bigger alliance within the community with structures on the ground, or
there is prospect for the united opposition to come together, but they have not been tested. These guys have not been tested by the challenges of forming a united opposition. The rivalries, the makeup of that, the composition of it, and the pecking order, who takes what in that united opposition. It may work, it may not work. You know, you remember before the last election, the attempts by Uhuru to bring together, you know, Weta and all those guys who are together, they were hanging together, they go to Mombasa, he calls them straight out, to try and build an alliance around Raila, and how it failed at the last minute. And he ended up with Raila Odinga lost Madividi and lost Weta to Ruto's political formation. So this is also what's going to happen. I mean, William is trying to infiltrate the united opposition, to scuttle it. Because if they stand together and each of them does their homework, it will be very difficult for William Ruto to be re-elected.
Okay.
Because they take significant sections or constituencies in the country that add up to many voters.
You see, I'm trying to also look at Tower movement being a betrayal. The young are betraying the old.
How are they? The young are just ambitious and they're aspiring for leadership and they want change.
Yes.
That is their discretion. That is in their right to demand better. It should not be seen as betrayal. They're not betrothed to or wedded to any political formation. They're wedded to a better future, better country, and where they see it is where they should go. Okay. Even you, where you see that is where you should go. Yes. You should not stick with things which are not taking us forward, or leadership that is not progressive. We're looking for better, and that's what we are about. I mean, everybody looks for better, wants to be better.
Yes.
So if we abandon the mediocre and go to the better, we should
then we are okay.
We should not be seen as betrayed. We should be seen as ambitious.
Who is betrayed the most here?
Yeah.
The politician, the activist, or the voter?
I think the voter is the one who is betrayed most of the time. Because they'll put your vote to you. Now, look, there are people who voted for people in ODM. They voted for ODM. They have been forced to support William Ruto by arrangements of the leadership, for example. That's why the disgruntled voices, no, we cannot go, we cannot support William in 2027, let's see whether we're working together, because the voter, ordinary voter, has been transported from ODM to Kenya Kwanza, from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza, from ODM to UDA and being told support UDA now by the arrangement of the leaders. That's a betrayal of the people who voted for you because they didn't vote for William. Or if they voted for William, now they're being forced to work with ODM, which they hated, for example. Now that you can talk about betrayal. They have been shortchanged by arrangements which they have done nothing. They have not been consulted about.
They just wake up in the morning and they say we are now in bed with this guy.
With these guys, and you are being told hapo ndio utaenda. And a lot of betrayal, Bana, is going to happen in 2026 and 2027 because you are now in a party. The leaders meet. They say we are joining this coalition. You don't support that coalition or other members of that coalition, but you are forced to go there. Yet you believed in this person and went to vote for him and want to support him.
Why can't you come out as an individual?
That is now the betrayal that happens. So you go, the people go the other direction. That's how it happens, you know. But sometimes people just follow their leaders. You know, they believe they know the best, and the way they're taking them is probably where they make them better or their better goodies there. So sometimes you just follow your leader. You know, that's I don't do that. I follow substance. By the way, I at a personal level don't follow people.
You see,
I follow ideas.
Yes.
So if a good idea is there found in that corner, that's the idea I'll go for. Not the persons. You know, and I wish Kenyans would move to the point of you follow an idea or an ideal, not the people, because people will always let you down. They betray you. That's why in my political past, I have seen betrayal. You work with somebody on an idea, he gets there, he gets a compromise, and he abandons the idea. It becomes now his selfish interests.
And you are stuck with the idea, but the leader has gone.
The leader has gone. You are there with the idea. They tell you, watakwambia utakula ideas bwana, my friend. Wewe unakaa na principle, utakula principle bwana. That's why you part with people, because the stomach begins to rule.
You see, should a Luya president promise fizzle out towards the next elections? Will it be the betrayal of the tyranny by the
No,
tyranny of
by the way, it will
numbers?
be very disappointing. At a personal level, I'll be very disappointed if in this election we don't have a Luya presidential candidate. I'm not an ethnic or tribal person, but I just think that leadership at the national level needs to circulate.
Okay.
You know, in future, perhaps we'll have to. The future generations may be the wiser and say, in order to avoid dominance of one community, in order to build a strong nation, we'll have rotational presidency.
Yes.
So that we say, we have been led by somebody from the Kalenjin community, we've been led by somebody from the Kikuyu community, now we need somebody to be led, or somebody from the Luo community, or the Luya community, or the Taitas, to give us, or Maasai. Otherwise, because of the tyranny of numbers, unless we write it into law and restrict, the way we had done with the ages of our leadership, that president you cannot run for president if you are above 70. Ilikuja ikatolewa. Museveni had such a constitutional proviso that, you know, below 35, you have to be 35 to run for president, and you cannot run for president even when you're at 75 or past 75. The amended the constitution remove those clauses. So if we thought that in order to secure our country, we need to have such clauses in our constitution, in the future amendments, the wise people in the future, when we are there or gone, can say, we are going to make sure that presidency will be in this region, in this, you can make it regional and remove the tribe. So that, you know, because we are a country formed of different counties now. We were initially provinces, now we are counties. And those counties and regions, so we can cluster them and say this cluster, this cluster, this cluster. So a president coming from this cluster means the presidency must move to another cluster of counties in the next election, and must move to another cluster
To the next election.
so that the presidency will have one time a president from northern Kenya, one time we'll have from western, maybe from the rift, from the coast. And it can be a cycle that is not too long. So those counties are clustered as coast counties, northeastern counties, central Mount Kenya region, western, and then there's the Rift Valley. So in 4 electoral cycles, you'll have a presidency that has moved from different
all the
around the country.
Okay.
So we can secure our future and a country by thinking in these things.
Let's end with do you think Gen Zs feel betrayed after what they did in 2023, 2024? And 2025? Do you think 2026 they feel betrayed? They will not hear about them anymore? Or we are going to feel them even more as we go to the next election?
First of all, I think the power and the unity and the force that had come together and which was defined as Gen Zs has, you know, gone down, sort of disintegrated. It needs to be rebuilt. Why? Because it had no leadership. It had no central command. So if they need to come back, the leadership of that Gen Z movement, they were there, Kina Kebaso, they were Kina Makaure, Nini, all of them have been consumed and they have failed to hang together. Because they said they can be leaderless and all that. Which is not practical, because politics is organized around people and structures. Government itself is the mega administrative structure. It must have positions, structures, and hierarchies. So you can't want to come into government and say we are leaderless. That's nonsense. So I think they need to be, you know, molded, and they need to think and then come back together. But as it is now, Gen Z is an amorphous term, group of people, age group that needs to be tapped because they share only certain things. Maybe exposure, ideas, not ideals even, because they are generational, they are creative, they are potential group that can be clustered together. People will tap them and destroy them and use them in different formations if they are not together. But if they come together and show leadership, they can then throw that influence or power or their vote numbers to a particular cause, and that will stand and win. So it's up to them now to begin thinking early, because they are going to be split. Everybody who is running for presidency, Ruto and all these guys are targeting them. They know this is potential support. So they would like to take a bit of it. So will they be able, are they a harmonious group? They're not. The disparate people, separate, each of them thinking.
You see, you just reminded me of what happened with the young Turks of the 90s.
Yes.
They had a very interesting.
But you know, the young Turks of the 90s stuck with the old guard, Jaramogi, with Matiba, and they gave them the intellectual backup and the energy, litigation and activism. So they funneled the energy into a movement. Which the Gen Zs have failed to do, because they need to funnel this into one movement, attach themselves to a force that can take power, and then they can also actualize some of the ideals.
Wow. I don't think we want to go more than that. It's I told you, this guy
had not politics in the morning. Surely. This is how you start a day.
This guy he knows where the layers are and how to remove them. So it's good. Thank you so much, David, for finding time to talk to our viewers. I want to believe that this will happen a lot more, so that we
whenever we have an issue, we come in, we share with the public. We introduce people to call us and ask us questions, so that we can also help them to figure out this politics.
Director I think the guy is hearing. He's going to make those arrangements going forward. Thank you so much. Let's end there. I want to invite you to follow us on our social media: X at WestTV_Kenya. Facebook is WestTV. You can also follow me at Mr. Kitui on my X account, and then you can also leave a message for me on my Facebook page at Okwasimiti CKS. Please, let's meet again next week on Tuesday. On behalf of Kelvin Gibet, who is the director of this show, this is CKS.